After the end of the Age of Vikings and the Scandinavian people's conversion to Christianity, there were still people of pagan faith in Europe, living on the shores of the Baltic Sea and in the north and the east of Fennoscandia. Their distant or difficult to reach homelands had kept them away from the first Christian missionary expeditions and out of the political turmoil that resulted in the creation of the great kingdoms of the East and the West. Although their paganism seemed like a common denominator to their Christian contemporaries, these people from northeast Germany and north of modern Russia had diverse origins, traditions, languages, and religions. They were not unknown to their neighbors. However, we find traces of them in the sagas and certain works by ancient historians. Different regions had very different levels of wealth, but these societies were mostly organized into clans. Although commercial links with Christianized nations did exist, they stayed outside their political influence until the 12th century. From then on, they all fell victim one by one to Western or Russian expansionism and were the targets of several crusades aiming to subjugate and to Christianize them. Today we're covering the Pagan Peoples battleboard from the Age of Crusades. This battleboard encourages the use of multiple small units to wear down your enemy. The use of terrain for this battleboard is paramount. You need to learn how to deploy terrain to your advantage. Whether or not you manage to get the terrain pieces that you need will determine how you do in the game. Let's start off with the organization of this warband. The warlord can either be on foot without any special equipment or mounted on a horse with a javelin. Hearthguards can also be mounted on a horse with javelins, or if they're on foot, they must be equipped with heavy weapons. The warriors either have no special equipment or are equipped with bows. Levies can only use javelins. There is a Saga Thursday episode in which I appear where I go into more detail on each of the abilities. I've included a link to this episode in the show notes below. A short summary would be that this battleboard really encourages the use of multiple small units. I tend to run this warband with a lot of shooting. What I normally do is take 1 point of Hearthguard either on foot or mounted, 1 point for the priest, 3 points of warriors with bows, and 1 point with the levy with javelins. I split them up into multiple small units to get lots of dice and also maximize the use of the ability with the Tara Avita, giving you bonus attack dice. The Pagan Peoples can also be taken in a more combat-oriented configuration. An example of this would be using 3 points of Hearthguard on foot, 2 points of warriors with no special weapons, and a point of levy with javelins. This would obviously give you a completely different playstyle from the list I suggested. So really, it's down to whatever you want to do and the models that you have. Regarding the modeling options, there are no official models for the Pagan Peoples from Gripping Beast or any other manufacturer. On one end of the scale, if you want to use just plastics without any modifications, the Gripping Beast plastic models for the Dark Ages will do perfectly fine. You have everything you need if you pick up a box of Dark Age warriors, archers, and plastic Dark Age cavalry, and you can modify them to your heart's content to get the look you want. On the plus side, this will be generic enough that you'll be able to use them in a lot of Viking Age boards as well. If you're willing to get a little bit more involved, you can also choose to sculpt some of the equipment that makes the Baltic pagan tribes so distinctive. I'm thinking of their special conical helmets and also their shields. Most Viking or Anglo-Dane models can be modified to look more like Pagan Peoples. So in principle, you have a vast number of models to choose from. The Pagan Peoples are a great battleboard that I've enjoyed immensely. Top 3 reasons I would give that you should try out the Pagan Peoples are that they have a unique play style that can be found in no other universe. It's actually quite a powerful board that can adjust to a lot of different situations and scenarios. And finally, you have the ability to use a lot of Dark Age models that you probably already have without making that many modifications. I hope you give the Pagan Peoples a try, and I'm sure you'll enjoy them.